Hello, thank you for joining us. This is Movie Grade. I'm your host, JR Alva. We are privileged today to be here with my two guests.
Jay Anderson, manager and commentator at PWL.
And I'm KLOWN E Gigglesworth, social media creator and former haunt monster. Obviously, with these good looks.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what kind of job you would get, actually. I figured you were an accountant.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been here before, this is Movie Grade. We don't do things on a 10-point scale. We do this on a grade average between A+ and F-. All right, with that said, this weekend, we had the opportunity to catch A Quiet Place, day one. If you're wondering about the glasses, this is because there's a clown in the room. There's a clown in the room. Clowns. Anywho, just wanted you guys to know that we got a chance to watch A Quiet Place with my good friends here. And let's just say it was quite an experience. So for me personally, first impression, this movie was something completely different from what I was waiting for. Only in the sense of, yes, I did see the first and second, but definitely diving into the movie, getting to that cream filling of it, really, really alters the perspective in this movie. So with that said, my first impression, I loved it. Simply put, I loved it. What about you, gentlemen? What do you guys think?
I actually kind of liked it. For me, it was a good start to the franchise because I've yet to see the previous ones. So it gives me a good idea of what to expect. I thought it was actually pretty good. Coming from someone who's had to really work on doing a lot of the physical stuff when you're in a haunt and stuff like that, you got to really let your acting come through in your body and things like that. Kind of like a mime, just saying. But that's the way they kind of really had to do it with the movie, and I really liked it. I thought it was actually pretty good. And when you got to be quiet and not have a lot of vocality in what you do, I thought they did a pretty good job. What about you, Chew?
Well, first of all, it's Jay.
Oh, sorry, you look like my friend.
Oh, yeah. Well, your friend is very beautiful. Second of all, first impressions, I'm not going to lie. I didn't see the first movie. I came into this movie actually blank, so my expectations were rock bottom. I was expecting a formulaic, typical garbage horror movie, and I am happy to say I was pleasantly wrong. It did the complete opposite. For me, my first impression was, wow, this is not a horror movie. This is just a good movie.
I thought it was a fantastic movie. Feelings on this movie, just amazing. I mean, it is a bit of an emotional roller coaster if you're not ready for it. And that was something I was not expecting when watching a horror movie. Usually, horror movies are usually the typical cliche, monster, slasher, damsel in distress, and that was not the formula that happened here. How did you guys feel about the movie?
I mean, honestly, the same way. I mean, it was actually tugged on a lot of heartstrings. There was a lot of drama and a lot of human, what's the word I'm looking
Rawness.
for? There you go. Human rawness to it. It just hit all the right buttons, made me feel all the right feels. It's compelling.
I liked it for the same reasons. You can really connect with the people. A lot of the time in horror movies, you kind of want to disconnect from them, just because you see them doing a lot of the faux pas. I mean, doing what I do, obviously, I enjoy horror. So I've analyzed from A, B, C to Z, and that's one of the biggest things with horror movies is they go on a formula, and I feel like this one kind of broke the formula to really draw in the audience and connect everything from the previous movies, which I still haven't seen yet, but it's good because it gives you an understanding, which I'm sure will connect everything in the future, which is the movies that have already come out. But I enjoyed it for that reason.
Talking about acting, To me, the acting alone was enough for you to be engaged in this movie. I couldn't keep my eyes off the screen. My eyes were glued. I wanted to see what was the next thing that was going to happen. And it wasn't just on what was going to happen. It was like on the characters and their reactions to everything that's happening, which, by the way, the lead actress in the film, oh my God, her performance was just beautiful, beautiful performance. And with that said, I want to dive even more into this movie. And unfortunately, the trailers don't give you that much to work off of. So they withheld the right amount of information and everything. So even if I put it up on the trailers to see what we're going to discuss now is going to not be in the trailers. And we got to do a deep dive in this. So once again, if you're expecting a little bit more than what we usually do, it's impossible with this movie to go in without spoiler territory. So, and this is going to be our new segment, I guess, from now on, hopefully. Please go to this timestamp if you want to avoid this segment. This is the spoiler zone. If you want to avoid spoilers. If you want to avoid spoilers, go to this segment. So from here on out, you've been warned. And we're going to do a deep dive on this. So now, going into the story, now that we have the opportunity here, guys, we can be as open and honest about every single aspect of the movie.
Dive one in.
Open, you say.
No. No.
Now going into our new spoiler zone territory, guys. Oh my God. I can't believe that the fact that a cat drove the story.
Honestly, I mean, I'm not going to lie. That cat better get an award. I will talk to the Academy. I will talk to all the foundations that arranged this. This cat, when you watch this movie, you're going to be like, holy hell, this cat is better than some actors. This cat could have carried the Twilight movie, I'm just saying.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a huge cat person. Throw up a picture of Jay's cat. That's my cat. That being said, this cat, just as adorable, let the fan. And I want all you dog lovers out there to take back what you said. That was a loyal feline.
Yeah, it really was. The only thing is to me, it really kind of took away some of the reality of it. Because you being a cat person, I have cats, I have dogs, I'm on the fence about both. But, I mean, really, you know when they had that can of food, the cat should have been going,
I've never met a quiet cat that does.
So
absolutely.
That kind of drew some from the realness, but I loved how it carried on in some of it. So going back to the acting, I mean, I personally thought a guy like Djimon Mustard.
I do not believe it was Djimon Mustard.
He's from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, he's the dude from Guardians of the Galaxy. I believe was the Seeker. He was the guy who was like, who? That guy.
Yeah, he's very, very well known for his voice and his ability to carry on his acting with the voice. I loved how he was just able to just be that guy. Especially like when it came down to like shutting up the one guy.
Oh,
wow.
That scene was just something that hit like, wow, it draws us a line in the sand too. Cause a lot of people are like, you should never have to result into this. And this was one of those cruxes that was like, I only have two choices here.
Is he going to really do that too?
Exactly. And it pulls it even into you. Because at one point you ask yourself, shoot, would I have done the same thing?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. There have been many times where I've been on the commentating table wishing I could just bang little Nate's head into the table, telling him, shut up, Nate! Shut up, Nate! If you knew the guy, you would understand.
Oh, I've banged Nate before. I know what you mean.
Oh, that makes sense.
I have to give credit because when they get to the one scene with the cat that starts to wander, like you start to worry a little bit, and then like out of nowhere, there's like this pull coming from the subway, and like freaking Mark Zuckerberg walks up. I'm like, holy hell! I was like, I didn't think he even had a heart to work in a movie that showed heart, but he did a pretty damn good job. I'm just saying.
Yes, the generic businessman, and I forgot his name too. I mean, great actor, great character. I'm just really bad with names.
Mark
But-
Zuckerberg, isn't it?
In any case, great phenomenon. And I want to point out something that you made earlier. You know, it's rare when a clown makes a point, but you pointed something out about the pantomiming, about, you know, deep character work. These actors did not hold back, and they busted out everything in their arsenal. You had to be able to express and convey your thought, your emotions, and your feelings without saying a damn word.
And it was amazing.
It was.
I really think, and it makes me, honestly, this really drew someone like me who never seen the previous movies to really want to carry on because, like, from my understanding, the previous movies already take place in the middle of the hellscape that is life with these things. I mean, this took place in New York, so I can only assume they were, like, cracked up meth heads or something from what I saw. But I guess they're aliens from the looks of it.
Those were aliens? I thought those were just typical New Yorkers.
I mean, it looked like regular New York to me. Like, I didn't see the difference. But then, like, someone said post-apocalypse. So I was
That
like,
makes
oh,
perfect
okay.
sense because, you know, there was one thing that was not New York at all, and that's how quiet it was. Now, I've been to that city. It's loud. It's so loud you can't hear yourself think, let alone hear yourself.
It makes perfect sense because that this movie took place there. You know, if you've seen the first and the second movie, obviously we're in spoiler territory, so I'm gonna tell you is these things attack by sound. So, and these things, I mean, it really brings out the uniqueness in humanity at that point in how to communicate non-verbally. Just the fact that there's so many things. We use our hands. You know, you're trying to mouth words. You know, you're pointing at objects. The pantomiming thing that you were talking about. I mean, it just, good God, it was so much that went on with this movie when it comes to that. And that just, oh man, and that really drives the plot too. You know, looking at the plot of the movie and everything from beginning, middle, and end. You know, we're in spoiler territory, so the main character and her issue, you know, finally is like it's like, all right, it's not very prominent, and then somehow it finds a way to bleed into the movie, and then it comes into a close.
Yep.
And that issue that she had, and she just, wow, it really had a fantastic plot. You know, how did you guys feel about the plot?
I mean, what I love about the plot the most is the subversion of expectations. As I stated, I came in here waiting for a typical monster movie. The monsters didn't even matter in this movie, man. I mean, this was about her. This was her journey, man. And it was about
and the cat. Don't forget the cat.
I did not forget about the cat. But more importantly, it gave you everything you need. Her issue throughout the whole movie, again, spoiler territory, but she's terminally ill. So are we rooting for this character when we know that this may just be the end? The cat, the man was the damsel in distress. How many times did she save that dude? I think he only had one heroic moment, and it was earned. It was earned. So those subversions, those things, you're expecting this, and you don't get it. And I love that. And as you said before, you know, horror movies come off a bit formulaic, and I'm a hypocrite. I love superhero movies. There's nothing more formulaic than Marvel. Fight me. I'm a fan. I'll outfight you, okay? But straight out,
Not right now, Clowny.
please no.
But I'm wearing my pointy gloves.
Please no. And besides, I don't fight. Thrash does all my fighting.
Oh,
Look how beautiful he looks. Anyways, that being said, yeah, the subversion of expectations were great. The characters were different, and just the ending, without giving too much away, because I don't want to give that ending away, but just the sacrifice that was made. Wow, right?
I know. I mean,
It just-
when you throw a cat at a monster like that, like it really does. It show. I'm sorry. Were you trying not?
I was trying not to. I don't even want to think about what happened to that poor cat.
Sorry. Anyways, I should have said spoiler before that.
It's okay. We're in the spoiler territory.
Hey, spoiler state of America. Territories are for Canada. All right.
Okay.
I can't help but respect how horribly political that joke was. Please make more.
Anyway, I know we're talking about the dramatization of the story and everything pertaining to the acting and to the characters and everything, but it also speaks volumes of the visual effects of this movie because it is very visually effects driven, and those monsters. I mean, they look pretty serious, they look pretty menacing, and they do their job as monsters, as creatures. So with that said, how did you guys feel about the visual effects? Was there anything you saw that was amiss, or was everything pretty straightforward, good for you guys?
I thought it was actually pretty good as well. Usually with visual effects that don't use practical makeup, like this gorgeous man or whatever he is, Ewok. Um,
They took down the Empire, okay?
we divert. So I really liked it, especially when they really get into the anatomy of these things, kind of showing they kind of pull a little bit of a Tremors move where it exposes the way these things work. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very, very analytical when it comes to horror movies, and I like how they really just drew you in to get an understanding of the way these things work. And the monster was okay. I think some monster work could have done better because I was getting a bit of a monster from Stranger Things vibe from him.
Yeah, I was kind of getting the same type of stuff.
And it kind of got me away, but I like how they kind of combined that and brought it in and really kind of explained to you what makes them work and how that head kind of serves like
a gigantic ear almost.
Satellite dish, yeah, or a giant ear. And I love how they can just kind of like close themselves off so they can kind of go into attack mode. So that whatever planet these are from, these are warriors or something. I don't know how in depth they're gonna get on this.
And that's what I want to get at. Going on what you were feeding, I'm gonna take your opinion and just run with it real quick. First of all, the design of it. I'm with you on that.
Make sure you don't have scissors because I learned the hard way. Don't run.
No, I'm not an idiot. Okay, I'm a very well educated man. Again,
well, you're wearing glasses indoors, so I won't judge you or you. Just saying.
There's a clown in the room.
In all fairness, Clowny. In all fairness, you of all people should never ever give me fashion design tips or any type of critiques on my look. You're a goddamn clown.
I make my own clothes, I'm just saying.
And
so I'm technically a fashion designer.
Yeah. Well,
So continue, run.
In any case, I'm going to take this opinion and run before I was horribly insulted. See, what ended up happening was, like, the monsters themselves, I feel like, I'm with you on this. The design felt unoriginal. Stranger Things did it. Godzilla fought both of those in those, like, 2014 movie. Great movie. I liked it. But, Mutu, we've seen those things. Stranger Things, we've seen those things. It's a freaking bug ape. We've seen tons of them. It wasn't that the thing that attacked us in Cloverfield. Point is these monsters to me visually were unappealing. Did it take away? Yeah, it kind of did. It kind of like knocks points off my grade, to be honest, man. But had it been a completely different design, I think it could have worked. The ear thing, I appreciate it. I kind of liked it. It wasn't just some stupid flower thing. It wasn't just the alien are there. That being said, if these things came from space, did they get dumped there? I mean, these guys just look like they fell from the sky. Who drove? I mean, I imagine what happened was, like, these things were going on their way to Mars Zoo, and then they got hit by a space Walmart truck, and all of the monsters just crashed on New York, and just like the actual immigration crisis, just took over and destroyed all of the asylums.
That's a pretty fair comparison. I mean, I would have gone with like this, like, outer space orgy because they kind of look like rocks, and when you start the movie, they're coming in like asteroids. So I think they were just kind of like orgying out, and you know how you get that one odd man that gets overly excited and like dives into the pile?
Yeah. No, the whole
just kind of like blows everything up. I kind of feel like that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. But no, and you're close. Instead of like them falling through, it wasn't an orgy. It was a big caravan. That being said, I stated earlier, and I kind of stick to the point, the monsters to me didn't matter. To me, the monsters were just an obstacle for the story.
And in a horror movie, you would think the monsters are the main character.
Exactly.
But they weren't. And I agree, it actually helped the character development. So
absolutely. And again, that's that subversion of expectations. Going to the effects thing, what I noticed was the sound, the lack of sound, the raining, the fact that, they were only able to talk when the rain shielded them, not when they were in the rain, away from the rain, with the rain muffling. I love the whispers, the attention to details. I loved that work. And as I pointed out, I mean, New York, wow. I mean, it looked great. The sceneries, the sets, and the sound effects, beautiful in my opinion.
and the flip cars, I mean, they didn't need to get any special cars. There's cars on fire, flip cars. But going back to visual effects too, I really liked when they did show the characters, it didn't feel like you were looking at a visual effect. Whatever company they got to do their visual effects, because I didn't get to stay for it. I had to go back to the clown car because I'm usually the first one to drive, so I'm first one in the car. But
I was wondering how that worked.
So I didn't get to see who the VFX company was, but I think they did a real good job, and I feel that hand in hand goes with the videography, the photography of the movie and the lighting. It was, I think, company wide, everyone should take a bow because it contributed to the visual effects in making the aliens look organic.
You know what it is, and I had stated this in another movie grade. Go back and watch those. Um, uh, especially what was that? What was that movie? It was the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Watchers.
Yeah, the Watchers. I had pointed out that they used the same type of techniques that was really smart for like CGI cover-ups. The CGI isn't good if you see the monsters up close. But these monsters were covered in dust. They were shot from far away. You always see them at a distance. They were never the sole focal point of any scene. They were background noise, and because of that, it did work. Hence why I always felt like their importance went there, but the threat and the looming edge that they could be at any corner, that was there. I'll admit. I love that effect.
All right, so moving forward, thinking about the scenery, thinking about the characters and the actors and everything, to me, there were so many memorable moments that it's very difficult to just pinpoint one, because this from beginning to end had a lot of stuff. But one of the things that stood out to me was definitely when the monster was on the prowl. It was about to go and get. It's chasing after our protagonists, and the fact that this thing, like, once it has a beat on you, it's like, sink or swim, do or die, literally. And that was just something I was like, wow, and obviously the story continues, so our protagonist made it, but just that threat, that point where you're just like, oh wow, are we gonna lose one of them? I hope it's not the cat. But yeah, definitely a lot of memorable moments. What about you guys?
Honestly, talking about scenery and everything, going back to what Jay talked about, I really like how they started this in New York. I don't know what the writing said or what, but I think New York or Los Angeles would have been key for this, or maybe even Japan if they wanted to go abroad, or China, just because of the pure noise pollution that goes on in the set, and how they had to really show you how quiet things need to be. Like, imagine the people that were killed and eaten before it got to the point that you see the survivors in the aftermath.
Mhm.
I really liked it, and like you say, Jay, it was hard to pick a specific moment because, I mean, from start to end, it was really just a fully wrapped gift given to you with a nice bow, and you really could enjoy the full movie. Like Jay, I couldn't really go into the movie with an expectation. I honestly try to go into horror movies in a negative expectation just because they're formulaic. But I went into this with an open mind, and I really, really liked it because they give a lot to it visually, acting wise, everything. Like, it was just chef kiss.
for me, and the moment that stood out, and as I've stated before, a good movie has several moments you could go back to and remember all that. This is one of those. This is one of those. So don't get anything I say or my grade twisted. This is one of those. But the memorable scene for me, guys, believe it or not, had nothing to do with the monsters, nothing to do with the ending or anything. It's a beautiful scene where we finally took our protagonist out of the hospice. We go watch a marionette show. We have this old performer pull out a marionette. And I watched that scene thinking to myself, this is going to be important for some odd reason. And now I get it. Here is this little marionette, and you're watching this little boy go out, be controlled, and forced to feel stuff. And then all of a sudden, he needs help with his little balloon. Help me blow this balloon up. He can't do it. So everyone gets amazed that this little boy can blow the balloon by himself. And now he's enjoying it. And you see this little puppet boy flying there. Now they're actually living in eternal happiness, bliss, pop. Moment's over. Show is done. That's exactly what happened to the main character. And I gotta say, that was as dramatic as I said it, and as undramatic as my partner interpreted it. That scene hit me the most, right here in the feels. And next time, I'll hit you right in the haha.
Okay, fair warning. And talking about it, I'm not gonna lie. One of the key moments that really stuck out to me when you watch it, obviously, we're in spoiler states.
Yeah.
Not territory. Damn Canadians. Except for Wade Wilson and Ryan Reynolds. They're national treasures. God help them.
Canada's gift to America.
Amen. So, anyways, I kind of a key moment that stuck out to me. It kind of could go both ways. It can be a positive and a negative. I think visually it was a good moment, and it's something that not a lot of people probably would have caught it. Was the foreshadowing right at the entrance as they're busing the people in? The foreshadowing as they look at the cityscape in the background, and in the foreground you have the shot of the cemetery.
Yes.
And to me, just on a visual standpoint, it was a great small tidbit of foreshadowing that took place that was very key to me, because it just, from a storytelling standpoint and a visual standpoint, it was very, very nicely put, kind of like Easter egg.
Those are definitely beautiful, memorable points and everything about the movie. Like we said, there's a lot that happens from point A to point B, and everything was fantastic. I think personally about this movie. Which, all right, so I guess that's pretty much most of our segments. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, so this is Movie Grade. If you haven't been here before, we don't do things on a 10-point scale. We grade things from A+ to F-. All right. With that said, this is the segment where I get the opportunity to ask my guests their grade. So, gentlemen, what was your grade on this movie?
Well, thank you, Clowny. I'd love to take it away. Okay. Of course, A Quiet Place, day one. First of all, you get points taken off. That movie did not take place in day one. It took place in the first 3 days. Second, okay? If you're going to call yourself a horror movie, you failed on that. As a horror movie, you get a horrible, horrible D. Okay? But I can't give this movie a D because it's not a horror movie. It's a drama. And as a drama, this movie gets an A. So overall, A-. You didn't follow the instructions, but you gave me something beautiful.
Personally, I think as a whole, I give it a B. Like I said earlier, I'll give it a B+. We'll give it a little enhancement. As I said earlier, the monster didn't feel very original. But I think the storytelling, the writing was very, very good. And as a movie, as a whole, I think it did good, which is why I give it the B+. But I do take away points just because I think the character development with the monster, the antagonist, I think it could have been done better, especially because we're introducing I don't know if they're seen in the subsequent movies, but I know that here, because this is considered day one, it's got to show you a lot of important things. One, it shows you how they get here, obviously in a space orgy asteroid, but
Caravan.
or caravan, but I don't know. If they've not really introduced character wise in the other movies, I think it was very key to bring something very original. So I really do take a lot away from that. Not too much, because it was a great movie.
I'm more of a action aficionado, so obviously I'm gonna always look at things of how they move, how it sounds, and overall how it flows. Um, I'm gonna have to. Oof, I'm torn between a B plus and an A minus. If there was a grade in between that, that's probably where I would be. Uh, with that said, though, being more action aficionado, I think I'm gonna have to go with an A minus as well. Mainly because if you're a person that likes, how things move and everything and stuff like that, this is very eye drawing. You know what I mean? You're not just looking at things and and nothing makes sense. The whole thing was cohesive, acting top quality. For I never cared more for a cat except for another one. But other than that, I think it was a fantastic movie. I think this, I think it's an A minus for me. Definitely an A minus for me as well. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you guys for your grades. I really appreciate it. I guess if we average out this movie, it's more of an A minus. It's a good movie, guys. I can't believe we're still in A territory. I thought we were not going to be in A territory for a while, but here we are. We're still in A territory. We got an A minus for this movie. Please go watch A Quiet Place day one in theaters while it's still out. Please follow us in all social media. You can find us on YouTube at moviegrade0013. So please make sure you guys follow us. Smash that like button, that subscribe button, share button. Please give us a comment on anything you guys think we missed or anything that we should change in our segment. We are trying some new things, and hopefully you guys like this version. Now, once again, I'm your host, JR Alva. I was joined here with...
I am Jay Anderson, manager at PWL and head commentator at PWL. You can find us at Pro Wrestling Legacy TX on YouTube, and of course at any social media at Pro Wrestling Legacy.
And I'm KLOWN E Gigglesworth, social media character and actor, obviously, and devilishly good-looking guy. You can find me on all the social media websites, all the socials. I'm sure my boy Jay over here, JR, is going to go ahead and make sure that he puts them somewhere up here, over here, maybe blocking right here. But
why would you block the best part of the video?
You've had us here. Thank you guys for having us. JR, thank you for having us.
Thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.